How could you turn this into tens of thousands of dollars? I'm about to show you. This tree we cut down years ago, first year tree, so 5 years ago we cut this tree down. Every year I come in and I clean these up, cut them off just to get them out of the way. Every year they grow back, and that's the case with about 80–90% of the trees that we've got out here. Now, I'm going to show you two things that you can do to make money off of saplings. Now, obviously, the first thing you want to do is get in here, clean all this out so you can see what you're working with.
I don't need rain, Lord, the sun sure stings. Somebody string a rattlesnake up. Good Lord, my whole world ran dry. The day that wicked old witch said bye, she put a curse on me. One on the river, now my crops won't grow no more. I got a hollow heart, a pocket full of nothing. My soul won't rest and my eyes won't pour. Let the rain come down.
So you see how big this tree stump was, and like I said, about 80–90% of the trees we got here, don't cut them down below the soil. That way they don't die off and they will shoot sprouts every year. You see it comes in spurts. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to show you is simple. All you need is some pots, some extra soil, and one of those or something like it. This one is extremely easy. Like I said, all you need is a bucket, some soil, and something to cut with. Now, you see how it grows in spurts here? We have a spurt here, a spurt over there. All you gotta do, pull all this back out of the way, that way you can get to it. Right up against the tree. As soon as you got it out, clean this up a little bit, scrape it a little bit, the same way you would do a tomato clone, a marijuana clone, etc., etc. Open it up, put this in a pot, let it root. Easy peasy. This here is roughly 4.5, 5 foot tall. It takes root. That's easily a $30 or $40 tree to sell in a nursery type situation. Boom. That's number one. All right, number two. This one is a little bit more labor intensive. It's a lot more labor intensive because it's going to take years, but the payoff is worth it if you've got the patience to do it. You see, I cut everything down except for this bunch. I just put my apple trees in, so this whole thing's got to go. But I'm not going to show you the exact setup. I'm going to give you the gist. Use your imagination to take it from there. So, what you need for this one is going to be some kind of board, cut to length, some kind of blade or clippers, and you're going to need some stakes and some baling wire, hanger, rope, something along those lines. All right, let me show you what I'm doing here. Okay, so as you can see, this is just one cluster. Came in and cleaned it up already off camera, got rid of the small stuff that I don't want. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to clean up some of these branches that are in the way.
Looking out to the west, I can feel it in my bones. Here come a hard rain just to blacken out the sky. I'd run for shelter if it wasn't me. Better pay heed to the past. You'll wind up dry. She put a curse on me. On the river, now my crops won't grow.
So you see we came in here, cleaned out about 75% of the lower branches. Now let me show you what we're going to do. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is pick a branch. Got my board. This is, you can cut a point into the end of this, nail it down into the ground, however you want to do it. But the gist is, you want to create a lock for the branch. So for here, I'd figure out a way, maybe put a divot or something in here, that way the branch sits down in it. but you want this to be secured against this and hold that stable. Now, once you've got this in, it's as easy as pulling this down and tying that off right there. Get your string, your baling wire, whatever it is, put your stake in the ground, tie this off, that way it sits like this. Now, what you get when you do that after a couple years is something like this. Now the goal is every couple weeks, every couple months, depending on how fast your tree grows. You know, the type of tree is going to play a big difference in how fast it grows. But every couple weeks, as it grows, you keep stretching spikes and tying it down. Aim it in the direction you want to go. Easy peasy, right? Does that make sense? You got it? All right. Now, another thing you can do is, if you've got a cluster like this, you see how this stump had 4 different clusters on it, 4, maybe 5. Well, if you go in and you trim it out, all except for 2 or 3 of the good ones, even 1 if you want to do it that way, or you could even use the same cluster. It just might be more complicated. It's simple. Now imagine all these other clusters are still here. All you do is you take this after you've cleaned it and you pull it around. You pull it this way. Then you take the cluster over there and you pull it that way. And you take the cluster over here and you pull it this way. That way everything's kind of the same principle of what you had on this. Just stretch this and do this is the same kind of concept you want going this way. Now the difference is when you do this, you want to tie the trees together where they come together and they meet. So if I'm bringing this over here to this cluster, then I will tie this tree to a tree on this side. I will tie that tree to a tree on this side, and so on and so on. And eventually, after a couple years, you will get something that looks like this. Now I know I didn't have the best angles, and I probably could have explained this with a lot more detail, but use your imagination, start figuring these things out. That's why it's called Homestead Stock Market, not Homestead, you know, get paid tomorrow. So basically, if you've got a whole set of trees going like this, 5, 6, 10 years down the line, these things will be thick enough to make furniture out of. You know, they'll have some substance to them, and you'll have a built-in shape. So the good thing about it is there's always going to be elites, and there's always going to be people who want something different. So you take a 10-year investment of simply pulling a tree down. Eventually you can get some lumber that's made to fit custom furniture, custom couches, chairs, etc., etc. As long as you bend them into shape while they're still young enough to be pliable. Think of it that way. What kind of furniture do you want to make out of this chair? So imagine this in 10 years will be this thick, and I will already have the shape. So I've got a natural built-in leg and support, whether it's a couch, a chair, a bed frame, etc., etc. You've got the built-in thing, which makes this extremely, extremely expensive. Furniture that's made out of stuff like this goes for, you know, $12,000, $15,000, $20,000. So if you've got some trees laying around and you don't know what to do with them, or tree stumps anyway, they keep sprouting, clean them up, put a little work into it, use your imagination. Like I said, homesteading is not a tomorrow paycheck. Homesteading is a future paycheck. If I do this today, when I'm 40, my 50th birthday, I could cut these down, sell them, make, you know, tens of thousands of dollars just off selling lumber. And all I had to do every couple weeks, every couple months, come out and just make sure that my stakes were solid, and then I'm pulling down with the growth. There you go, guys. That's some ideas for you. Try it out. You know, obviously different wood works different, grows faster, grows slower, worth more, worth less. You get into your this is oak, So it's going to be extremely solid, but it's not going to be top of the line wood. It'll be worth something, you know, but it won't be worth if you do it to a cedar tree or a spruce tree or anything like that, you know, hickory, etc. So there you go, guys. There's 2 different ways to make money on the homestead. Like I said, it's not tomorrow money, it's down the line money. So do something creative, get out there, figure something out. All right, I'll holler at y'all. So, 1 apple tree there, 1 apple tree there. So you got to come in and clean these up, and then get the rest of this mowed out so we can get the orchard set up, clean that monster out. But it's getting there. All right, get out and do something, y'all.